Welcome back into the channel, guys. Hope everybody had a great weekend. So this is the next project. Picked it up yesterday, and you know, I did learn a lot from the last one about electrical, how to read schematics and everything like that. So definitely, you know, I don't feel intimidated so much about, you know, just digging in, you know, download the schematics and look at it and see how it all works out. So it really just takes one to just dive into, and, you know, don't be afraid to test it, trace it, look it up, Google it, 1,600 different ways. Check out YouTube, because, you know, maybe one of my videos would help you. But so this is a same year as the last one. It's a 2001 Polaris Explorer 400. It is liquid cooled, and it is a two-stroke. So this will be my first two-stroke ATV that I've worked on, and so, you know, hopefully it's not too much different. I think it should be some more simple. You know, you don't have valves to deal with, and oil. You don't have to check the oil. Still has, I believe, transmission fluid, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm sure it does. There is no speedometer on this one, I guess, this model. So it does just have the neutral and reverse lights, and so it does not run. It hasn't been used in a long time, so when the seller tried to start it up, it wouldn't start, and so he tried a few things, gave up on it, and he also said that the charging on the battery did not work in the past, so he would have to charge up the battery if he's going to use different things, use the electric start or something like that. It does have electric heated grips. If they work or not, I don't know. And thumb warmer as well. And a winch. It does have a winch. It's supposed to be working. The brakes, the rear brake. So there's like nothing there when you press it. So I don't know if it just needs to be bled or what. But we'll look into that. Maybe the little nipple's been unscrewed completely and it's just blowing air out of it. But we'll have to look into that. I'll have to make sure the winch works. This does have rock lights. So there's a light in each one of the wheel wells. I wonder if we can see that. He did charge up the battery, but we tried to start it and it's a no-go. So the neutral light works, reverse light works. That's good. You know, this is a little loose, so I might see if I can tighten that up a little bit. Make sure that it's going in gear properly. And then I think he said, he showed me over here, and there's no switch for, these must be them, for the rock lights. So I ordered up a switch, and we're going to, yeah, I can see him actually turning on right there. There's right there. If I can manage to sort of just, so you can see a light right there, and there, and there, and this one I guess is not working. So if you look under here, you got lights, and I guess those two are for underneath, and it has one there, it has one up in there behind the shock, the strut. That is pretty cool. I don't know why this one is not working, but maybe we can, I don't know how they work. Never worked on those before. Pull it out or something. And looks like they're all tied together, so they must be all independent. And what I'll do is just extend these, or extend one of them up here, and then up probably on this side, and put a little switch right here. And so this is the switch. Amazing how fast Amazon stuff gets here. I just thought, I'll order one last night. So we'll put that right there. And that'll turn on the rock lights. And this looks like the switch for the heated grips. And we'll have to test that out. Hopefully that works. And he did say that you have to, the petcock is broken. So you got to be careful. It'll dump the whole tank of gas. So I did order up another petcock, and the last Polaris Sportsman, the 2001 that I worked on, the same thing happened. Well, it was broken. Both of these broke off, these nipples for the hoses snapped right off. So it's 15 bucks. I mean, I don't know why people don't just spend 15 bucks and don't have to worry about, you know, dumping half their fuel. 30 bucks in gas. Oh, looky what we got there. And we got some toys. This is the adjuster for the shock, I believe, for the rear. I did buy a set, but that is cool. Maybe for all the shocks, I don't know. Little hose. And we have some tools. This is the first tool pouch that I have found. And they are shiny new. That's crazy. They're like brand new. Normally stuff's covered in rust, and I've had dirt bikes in the past, but since I've been doing this, first time I've had one, and that's, I don't know how that's still shiny. It's been in that thing for, you know, 25 years in that storage, or maybe it was in the house and never used and then put it in there to sell it. I don't know. Stick. Got the stove put away for the summer. So I can't wait to dig into this. I don't have time today, but I think tomorrow I will dig into it. And one of the first things I'll do is take this off. I find it's a lot easier when dealing, you know, without this thing on it, but everybody's got a 2-up seat. I don't know. This one, it didn't come with the keys, he said, so it flops, so I'll have to find some way to hold those down so you don't keep flipping up. But I am going to take that off and decide what I'm going to do after it's all done. But until then, you know, he did say also that when you go in reverse, you have to hold the reverse button when you're going into reverse. So that could just mean that he has the idle set too low. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to take a look at the carburetor, clean it out if we get it going. Make sure it's got spark and everything. And so we do have a hole here. I think this is the only broken plastic on the whole thing, if I remember. And so I might try to find some kind of piece of plastic and melt it on there. Heat weld it on there. Plastic weld. He said the 4x4 works, so we'll have to test that out. And I don't know what this light was. It used to be, but it's broken. I don't know if the light still lights up. I'll have to look that up and see what that light means, just in case it goes on. So yeah, I'll come back and stay tuned, guys, and we will make this look nice. I got both of them in here. I got my own in here, and I have the 2-up seat on that. You guys can see the work I did on this one. I got this for a trade for my for a KX250 that I completely rebuilt. So you can watch those videos. I think with this one, the only thing that was wrong with it was the clutch on the other side had shattered inside, just blew up. and I did put a new seat on it. So we got the videos, you guys can check that out, but stay tuned and we will get some room in here and start some diagnostics on here. Look for spark, look for gas, look for some air, make sure it's getting compression, and go from there. All right, guys, see you in a bit. Just real quick, guys, when I get one, I can't help but start cleaning it. I like working on it when it's clean, but I like the reveal at the end. I mean, as you can see, it's covered in scratches and caked in mud, especially underneath. There's a lot of grime down in there. The engine's coated in grease. Even the, you know, the spring's covered in. So I just cleaned the seat, and it looks good already, and I do some WD on that. So, you know, I just can't stop. I hit that. It's just amazing how much better these things look when they're shined up. All right, that's it, guys. I just want to show you how little OCD I am. We'll see you in a bit, and we'll start diagnosing. Okay, it's the next day, so we're going to do a few things today. I did clean the seat. Looks like it's in pretty good shape, actually. I'm going to take this off, and I'll probably take the rack off to get in there, because I'm going to need to test to see if the stator's fried or the charge controller, and I haven't yet checked where the charge controller is on this. But let's get moving. Okay, let's take this off. Looks like we got a 11 mil. Everybody's got a 2-up seat. Might as well sit this right here because I'm going to need to see what's in there. So let's get this rack off here. I think we need to take the rack off. Let's get this cap off. And this rubber. Looks like a piece of rubber. Put that right back on there. I know it's going to be hard to get it back on. So this is the reservoir for the 2-stroke oil. And here's the CDI. And if I were a charge controller, would I be right down there? Yes, I would. Okay, I'm going to take this off here. And like I always say, wherever you can, put the bolt back in. There'll be one less thing to look for. And figure out, where does this go? Okay, so how much is in there? Oh, there's not a lot in there. There's some. He said it was full, but there's just some at the bottom. And I'm gonna check the coolant while we're at it here. Topped up, that's good. And what we could do is check the head gasket. I'm just going to crank it over. I don't want to crank it over too much because we don't know how long this has been not starting. I don't want to be grinding. So I'm just going to turn it and see if this bubbles up at all here. I don't know if you guys can see this. So we'll see if it has a head gasket by turning the key and cranking it, if there's any battery in here left. And if this bubbles up, then we know the head gasket's blown. And it is not. So it looks like we are good. A trusty multimeter here. Put this cap back on here. It's funny, when I had the conversation with the seller, I think he was under the understanding there was two stators, but I think what he meant is there's one that sends power to the coil and one that sends power to the charge controller. So, oh well, look at that. This is different. So maybe they've changed the stator, trying to fix it, but, or look at that. This was unplugged. So, like I said, this is not connected, and you can see that the dust inside there, that you can tell this hasn't been connected for a while, like dirt and dust. So I find it, he said his buddy was a ETV mechanic, so that's a little strange. If he's telling the truth. I am in dire need of more WD-40. So I'm just going to clip that together. Oop. And if I can get my hands in here, because like Genius puts that in there and then puts the connectors that close to it. Popped in there. If that's all it was for his charging, that's hilarious. That's 3 wires going in, and then there's some, oh, look at that. Look at that. I just touched this. So I just touched, where is it? This cable here, and this literally just broke. It's supposed to pull out, but the other one, look at that, it just snapped right off. It's all green. So there's yet another problem it could be. So I'm hoping that's the problem. I don't even have to buy another charge controller. I just need to find a way to get my hand down in there to fix that. So with some of these, that's going to the light, and then this is coming up. It splits off for the lights. No, so I need to cut that and pull it up here so I can repair that. Got those together. You guys can see. So I just put a proper connection on there. Yeah, so it may need to be running to actually see. But at least we know the battery is good. So again, these, I'm going to extend these, and I'm not 100% sure how these switches work. So let me just see. I'm pretty sure that you set the meter to continuity and touch these. So if we turn this switch off, we should get no continuity between these two. And if we turn the switch on, we should get continuity. Okay. I don't think I'm stupid. I've never done these before. So, figuring everything out as we go. So basically, what I will do is I'll run, I think, the positive to the battery, and then the negative I will extend, connect up to here, and then have this one go back to the battery. So one or the other, one coming from the negative and then the other one going to the battery. So it'll break the continuity for the circuit, and when I turn it on, it'll turn on the rock lights. So I'll just tie wrapped up in here somewhere and back up in there. So this is our first look. Look how loose that is. That's pretty worn. We had a 2001 before, and the transmission was, the bolt was loose down in there, and so those bars don't seem too loose at all, so I don't think there's a problem with those. And this is almost like a mini fatty here, like a little expansion chamber before it goes into the muffler for a two-stroke. It's kind of cool. And it's got a pull start, and yeah, looks like there's just a lot of dirt in here. Once I get that clean, that should look pretty good. I don't know why anybody never cleans things. And actually that is loose. So this is actually the lock bolt to keep it from moving. Okay, so far we have the two-up seat off, and I think we may have fixed this problem. Can't believe he didn't look at that. So I'm gonna take a picture down in there so I can send it to the guy and say, I think I found what your problem was, if that's the problem. He did say he put new lines in for the winch here, which they do look new. Probably should take care of this stuff. It won't be new for very long. And don't do it. And the headlights worked. It is weird not having a headlight here. I didn't see, it's got a high beam and low beam, so I don't know if those have two. See, it does have a high beam and a low beam, and the guy did show me. All right. So if that's the only fix, I think what the next thing we'll do is check for spark and check compression. I'll be right back. I don't see it at all. This is going to tell us how it's been running. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Looks like it's been running pretty good. It's a little brown. no thick carbon or nothing like that. You know, that's I'd say that's pretty good. And that is a BR9ES spark plug NGK. So we're gonna set this here, and let's Google. Take a look at this. It says a 2001 Polaris Explorer 400, a 2-stroke engine, should ideally have a compression between 90 and 110. A reading below 80 indicates worn components requiring a top-end rebuild, while anything 70 to 75 likely too low for engine to properly run. We're gonna hope it doesn't need a new top end. But we'll do what we got to do. It's a 2-stroke, so easy peasy. Okay, so see if you guys can see that. Zoom in here. So we're looking for it to get right around here. Down here is no bueno. You got power. And that popped right off. Okay, let's do this again. Well, that's not good. Now, the battery sounds like it's really dying. So, that's a possibility. About 80, and it hasn't ran in a while, so the rings might need to be seated or something. So what we might do is to check the compression after we get it all tested, get it running and everything, if we get it running. And honestly, the only pain in the butt about doing a top end on this is taking the plastics off, because once you get the gas tank off, it's right there. I mean, it's pretty simple. And you know what? I didn't actually check with throttle open. I don't know if that's gonna make that big of a difference, but let's make sure. So I'm gonna sit that right there. I'm gonna throttle open. Okay, well, that made a difference. 75, 80, 85. That brought us almost to 90. So that's actually not horrible. Just by, I think we got an extra almost 10 PSI just from holding the throttle full open. So remember guys, when you're doing that, hold the throttle open full so it can pack that air in there to give you a proper test. And the other thing we got to do is change this. So I think what we might do is just change this so I know that the gas isn't leaking, and then I'll pick up tomorrow where I left off. So I don't have a ton of time tonight, but we're just picking away at this day by day. So let me get a, looks like a slot screwdriver, and we'll get that off. Let's bring it out here. Well, back in there, I don't know, that's just a hell of a lot of crap on those fuel lines. So I don't think we need to change it. So the only thing is, it's going to kind of suck. This is going to start spewing gas everywhere. And here's the new one. So it's shaped a little differently. So the middle one, I don't know if this gas was turned off. I think I turned it off. So I should be able to take the one going to the carburetor off first. And that's there. So okay, so we got one, and we'll slide this clamp up, and that's one, and that is going to go like so. I wish I could turn that, but I cannot. What I can do is cut that and then fix that up after. And take these other clamps and move down. And these I have to do fairly fast, I think. And they are jammed on there pretty good. Oh, what am I doing? I think that might have broke loose. Maybe not. It's going to start leaking gas everywhere. And we need to put that. So this is going to go like that, and that's the closer one. And we'll put that on like that. That wasn't too bad. Got a little bit of gas. Not too much. Move the clamp down. I think what we're gonna do is cut this hose right here, which it actually looks newer, and we're gonna put the filter on there. I just want to get these done first. So I will get a long enough one to go sort of around, loop back like that and back, and there is a fuel filter on there, so I will put this that length right there. Cut right there. And I'll get the fuel filter that came with this package. And this package comes with everything. Clamps, fuel filter, cleaning things for your carburetor, little pieces of fuel line, but that comes with the big clips, but then it comes with little crappy fuel line. So I wrap this around like so. I'm gonna want the fuel filter somewhere in the middle here, right about there. And then I'm gonna want fuel goes that way. I'm gonna want this clip on here, and fuel filter. To go to there, and then we're going to want this on this end, and there, and right in there. So I'm going to put it on this way. this. Oh, we need another clip. And move that clip down. There we go. So then this is going to do a little bit of a loop once we get this in here. Like under. Get the other parts here. And get this little bolt on here, this little nut. Make sure that's nice and tight so that don't move. We're going to put this facing up, and we're going to put this little washer and screw. And this is actually Phillips. And put that in there. And they also come with a little cap for 15 bucks. So there's no reason why people should be running around with leaky pieces of crap like this. And they said this doesn't work, but it doesn't look that bad. It doesn't look as bad as the last one I worked on. So up is off, and to the right, I don't know if it's reserve or... Then we'll get the carburetor off, and then we'll connect this up into the carb and replace this old one, which is that'll be at least another job done. Here is the spark plug boot, which is really short. NGK spark plug boot. So, looks good in there. Ground it out right there. And we are really going to hope for a spark, because we've had kind of a run of really bad luck with stuff. That should go right there. And we will... Oh yeah! Oh yeah! That is some really good spark. That is consistent. And that is every time. Perfect. All right. So if it wasn't a spark that they had a problem with, and it wasn't a fuel line problem, we should have taken a sample of that fuel. We still can do that. So this should be premix, as I was told. So, because we just put this new fuel line, oh, it's already coming out. Oh, that's right, because we were doing it back and forth. So let's see if we have a fuel filter or a fuel. We got some fuel going in there. Yeah, I can definitely see it's blue. So that's good. Doesn't look like, I think this is fed, yeah, this is fed not by a fuel pump or anything. So that's interesting. Not All the other ones had that diaphragm fuel pump. And we see really good blue fuel. That's good. No water at all. Okay, guys. Yeah, that's going to do it for today. And you guys keep watching because there'll still be more. But for me, that's all. I am going to put this fuel back in. I might wipe down a couple spots while I'm out here, but that's pretty much it. Yep. So I think tomorrow or whenever I get out here next, I think we're going to take the carb out, clean her up, put it through the cleaner there, ultrasonic cleaner, and put her back together because we don't really see. We got spark, we got fuel. I think I may have fixed the charging problem, and I don't know if that, well, they said it worked after the charger didn't work. So I think that was two separate issues of it not running and charging. So looks like we're going to get lucky with this maybe. Shouldn't say anything. Shouldn't speak too soon, but we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Keep watching. Alright guys, we're going to take a look down. We're going to take a look down the in the piston there with the camera. So let's turn on the endoscope. See if we can fish our way down there. And can we see the hole? Look at all that dirt. And there we go. Oh, there's a lot of carbon in there. So we're gonna just move piston down to the bottom, I think. There we go. So you guys can see there is definitely some carbon on the piston, but not terrible. And let's see if we can press the button here and change the camera. There we go. And let's see. It's kind of hard to see that angle. And we turn around. And take a look. If that's reflections down there. I don't see any deep scratches or anything like that. Kind of looks okay. And Kind of looks okay in there. Oh, there's some lines. So I don't know what those are, if those are just marks from rubbing. See if we can get in closer there. Yeah, they don't really look like gouges. I don't really see any cross. Oh, I can see a little bit of crosshatch still there. Take out the carb. I'll pull the carb, clean it out, and put it all back together. And I don't know, I think she'll start, because we have fuel. We have a good petcock on there now, and we'll make sure there's fuel going down into the carb, make sure the carb's clean. We got compression, and we have spark, so we should be good. All right, guys, keep watching. Okay, guys, next day here. So we got a bit of work to do. I want to get this finished today, and then get it out to get some power wash and clean it up. And so today we're gonna get the carb out first, and set you guys up here. So you gotta get the carb out, cleaned, put it back, and we're gonna put the switch on the rock lights and get the brake working. Those are the goals of the day. It's coming along pretty nicely. Loosen up the boot here, the airbox. Just pulls out, and looks like we got a little hole there on the airbox. That's not good. I think that'll be over top anyways, so it'll still seal into the carb. The carb goes in. Oh, you know what? I think that's supposed to be a hole. That is. That's interesting. I wonder if that's the facility getting it off. There is some oil in there. I did check this. It does have a filter, and could use a new one, I would say, but at least it has a filter. Feels like there's a little bit of oil in it. Well, there goes that washer. Okay. Phillips. I think we can bring you guys right down in here. Out. There's the old air or fuel line, so we're replacing that. I do have fuel coming out in my hands. And there was a fuel filter on here. Pretty dirty. Don't know how old that is, but At least they had a fuel filter on it. So we just got the choke. This has not been cleaned in a little bit, I can tell. And that's good. No, don't lose that pin. Okay. Nothing's really seized in here. Choke come out nice. And what we'll do is, yeah, looks like that's choke's working. It's free. And I could open that up to take a look at the reeds. And make sure that's good. At least we can get a good look at the transmission here. Yeah, see, these get worn. And so this is, you know, you move this is the transmission. So when it starts getting old, you start getting a lot of play. You see that play? Back and forth. So I saw there is a way to fix that. What you can do is you take this metal piece and you weld on a bigger piece and you move this out further, and then it seemed to work. I seen a guy do it. So if I have that problem in the future, I'll be trying that out, I think. I got a breather hose here. You got to check your breather hoses. If there's some that's kinked off or melted, they can cause problems. Sounds like the Maverick is wanting inside because it is pouring outside right now, so I'll be back. Okay. Yeah, you can smell that gas. Okay. Get this bowl off here. And you always like to take a look at the bowl. It tells you how many times this thing's been open. A couple times. There's a bunch of fuel coming out. And they're not that tight. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And it is a Mikuni original, so that's good. We all know I like original carbs. No Amazon job. Not to keep knocking the Amazon, you know, you got to use what you got to use, but you know, as you guys see, it's fairly easy to clean these things. And you wouldn't believe how much easier, better it starts, runs, and power. And oh yeah, lots of gas in there. You know what? That's actually pretty clean. That's pretty clean in there. I haven't seen this kind of carb before. These kind of floats on the side. It's interesting. It's got little rubber stoppers on the top. And then do you pull them off? Or you just put the whole thing in the cleaner like that and not risk breaking anything. And this looks like it's got solder on it. Or something. See that? It's not flat. It's like it's been soldered or something rubbing on it. Chain rub on it or something? I don't know. It's weird. Okay, let's see if we can get this pin out. And that might prove to be a bit of a problem. Nope. One pop. And so this is a steel pin. That's interesting. It's my first steel pin too. Or brass pin. And then it looks like the bowl itself is actually screwed in. So I don't think no, I'm gonna try to get that out. I don't think it was leaking. We got the main jet here. Oh yeah, all kinds of gunk up in there. Oh yeah. Oh, that is. Oh yeah, that's got a lot of crap in there. Still light through it, but my eyes do not see what that is. Need a magnifying glass. I'm at that age. And we're gonna knock the emulsion tube down. Now there's so much crap in there. If I can get that out. There we go. So, that's not horrible. It doesn't have all the million little holes. So that's not bad. All in all, it's really not that horrible. And you have the idle screw here. It's like a little bullet, and it keeps the plunger from coming down. Usually the ones I've seen actually just keeps the throttle push, so that's interesting. Let's see if we can get out the starter here. I think I got a little bit bigger screwdriver than that. Yeah, they're coming out nicely. Nothing seized up, and honestly, so the kind of like these gaskets better. This gasket is like set in, so when you put the bowl on it, it's got some protection. Better design, I think, for less leaking. Okay, and we got the starter. Oh, that is completely clogged. Yeah, so we will get that cleaned out. And do we have a air mixture screw here? There's a breather. That's clear. And see how many turns in the air breather, the air screw is. So 1, 1.5. One and a half turns in. Looks okay. I don't think that's supposed to go to a point. It's not broken off. There should be a spring. Spring looks new. And there should be a little washer in there. And a I don't see one. Like a O-ring. No. I think there's supposed to be. There usually is. Nope, nothing. Okay. So we're going to get this in the ultrasonic cleaner for a half hour. And I'm sure that'll come out looking almost new. You can't see, but down in where that tube was, there's a lot of junk down in there. Other than that, it really wasn't that bad. Okay, we have the parts in Pine Sol, because that's kind of what I use. It seems to be working fairly well, and it's cheap. And we'll come back in 30 minutes. Okay, we're gonna bleed these brakes, so I don't know what size socket that is. So I don't know which one I'm bleeding here because there's two. So how about we bleed them both? You know what? I'm turning that whole thing, and I need to hold that still and just turn the outer part. See, now this one, I need a wrench. And what I'll do, hold the outer still. We're going to see if these bleed. Because the lines are there, there's fluid. I think the piston might be gone in the brake itself. Well, the front brake works because that just shot 4 feet and hit the garage door. And at least I know that's this one, so I can tighten that down. So that's good. And this is the rear. I can take this thing right out. And Let's see if there's fluid on the back end. Looks like there's fluid. So I think the piston, which is right down there, is blown. You can see it going in. And where is the fluid? I did see it. It's right there. So now there's that lid down into the abyss. There we go. And get that off. Yeah, so that's full. There ain't no air bubbles coming up. So that piston must be blown. They're only like 15 bucks. So, problem is nobody ever uses the rear brake anyways. But I think I might order that up. Just to get experience. But that won't stop our test drive and everything else. Okay, so brakes bled. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's rock solid. So front brake works perfect, rear brake not so much. So our next goal is to get this wiring extended. So I'm going to cut that and extend it. And we know how these work. You just jam that inside there until it goes into the copper or the lead or whatever material that is in there. And you take this one in, do the same thing. So you see they're side by side. Squish. And then we'll get the heat gun. And we'll just blast that for a second or two. Okay, who thinks my harebrained idea is going to work? So actually this will work without the key. So let's turn the light off and flip the switch. What? Look at that. I don't know why I put them behind the shocks. I don't know if that's what. Looks like this one is burned out. Or half going. So that looks kind of cool. You can see the rear end. And then you got one for each tire. And then you also got for the grill. And off, on, sweet. One more project down. Put it back together. I can't wait for that to look a lot cleaner because, as you can see, it's just caked in grease down there. And it looks like the gas has been dripping, or something's been dripping, leaking. He said if the old shut-off valve, if you didn't shut it off, it'll dump out the whole tank of gas. So I am glad that I put a new petcock on there. Okay, so I did just put some grease in the fitting there, and you see it coming out the side over here. So quite a bit went in. So that'll just help any wear. Usually it'll push out the water when you're doing it. And any other joints. I thought this transmission would have some kind of dipstick or oil or something, but I don't see anything. I don't know what this thing is right here. Maybe that's what that is. Get a flathead down there. Okay, that looks like a dipstick to me. It's different. This is a little, you see something like that. It's got a flathead, big old flathead hole. Can't really fit your hand down there to reef on it, but and it looks like there was oil in it. So I think you have to have it screwed all the way in. Just to test. And it looks like it has. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah. So it looks like, I'm guessing it just has to be on these ribs. So we got oil down there and it is clean. Leave it to Polaris to make something difficult. Because you got to take the air box out and the carburetor to get down to right there. Brilliant. Make sure it's nice and snug. Okay, we got the carb out of the cleaner there, so it looks pretty damn good. Got a couple little spots deep in that looks like I put it in for 30 minutes and then I put it in for another 15. And because it seems to get the bottom, and then you got to turn it upside down and get the what was the top to the bottom, and so it looks like it just misses the deep spots. So I did it like this, I'm thinking, then did it like this, but I don't know, just right in the crevices here. It's just, which is not exactly a problem. Okay. The bowl is spotless. Yeah, looks great. And those work well, so we're just going to get this back together. Put the choke back in here. All right, guys, so got the carb in, got the air box in, got the wiring done. We checked the brakes, And the fluid, rear brake, we'll need a piston there. Now, we hope we solve that issue with the wire not being connected on the charge controller rectifier. And we're going to cross our fingers. After the electrical issues we had on the last one, the Polaris 500HO, who knows? But we have a nice shiny carb in there. We set the air screw to 1.5 turns out. And so we have good compression. We have good fuel flow, which I haven't turned on yet. So I don't know if the carb leaks. Hopefully it's not going to leak. And how about we take a little look? Oh yeah, she's leaking like a sieve. Oh, you know why? We didn't connect the fuel line back up to the carb. Genius. So, I don't see why it wouldn't work. I mean, the jets were clogged. We did find another problem. What was the other problem we had? Well, we had the charge controller disconnected. So, I don't know, sometimes, you know, the carb's clogged, no fuel's going to the engine. It's that simple. Okay, so let's turn on the fuel. And we'll try to choke it. And we'll cross our fingers. And we will get the key. I'll find the key. Keys in my pocket. Okay. Power on. It's in neutral. This is always the nerve-wracking moment. You want to make sure you got everything. You thought of everything. Revving a little high. Smoking. Hopefully that's just a two-stroke smoke. Hopefully it's just hopefully it's just a two-stroke. Revs out. Revs out nicely. Everything seems, lights still working. Low beam, high beam. Winch still works. Fired right up. Anything leaking? See if she starts back up. That is a lot of smoke. Forget what a two-stroke looks like. starts right up. Let's see if it moves. Uh-oh. Reverse. We're gonna get a little smoke break here. I feel like it wants to go in forward. That's what I was saying earlier. If it's it seems like it wants to go, but that's high or low, and that is it wants to go when it's off. Let's try to start it in gear. It does grind a little. So what you can do is you can adjust so it pushes further, because forward, so this is, so where's neutral? That's neutral. So when you go in high, it pushes that. So you'll want to extend that bar. So we're gonna adjust that bar. So you just turn the whole entire bar, which then pushes both sides out. We're gonna see if that helps. Okay guys, so I just turned the bar. So watch now. There we go. So as I was saying, so when you turn for high, for low and reverse, or sorry, high and reverse, it's the bar furthest from the engine. And if you just roll it, so what you have to do is actually loosen these two nuts, and you'd have to take off, those are sort of like lock nuts. You back those off on both ends, and then you roll the whole bar this way. Then it pushes the two ends further apart, which then gives it more, you know, it adjusts it so you can move that lever more to make up for the slop. And then you tighten those nuts down, and so it don't move. But you can see it works, you know. Awesome. One last thing. We want to check to see if the battery charges now. So we're going to get the multimeter. And so what we should see, I believe is like 12.5 or something like that when you're idling, and then when you give it gas, it should go up. So I'll put these on here, and you'll see we're at 12.57 right now. We'll start it. See that? Give it gas. And you can see that jumps. And now we're at 13.2, so it is charging. Try to sit this. Not sure how well you guys can hear, but I'll give it some gas. That is awesome. So all that time, we thought it wasn't charging. And I just touched this thumb warmer and it is hot. So that thumb warmer is working. I don't know about the hand warmers. Yeah, I don't know about the hand warmers. Got some gunk. Okay, got some of this foam. Let's see how good this works. Just make sure you... He's getting pretty. Put her back together. Okay guys, that just about wraps it up. It's another one. Looks great. It's nice and clean. All I got to do, I'm going to take it for a rip tomorrow, so keep watching. I'm going to put some oil on the chain. I'm just going to let her dry up a little bit. But she's looking great, I think. Wasn't running. We found the carburetor was clogged up and the charge controller was unplugged, the rectifier charge controller. One of the wires was unplugged, so that's why it wasn't charging. It is now charging and it is now running perfectly. And we can take a look, see again. We replaced the petcock, which I am going to remember to turn that off now. And everything, we tightened up the shifting so it clicks better. So if anybody has that problem where it's grinding, you can adjust that pretty easy. And we do have to look at this, so I may have to buy a new one. When I was trying to take it off to reroute the wires, the nut spun inside and cracked that. So I'm going to try to fix it. If not, I'll have to pick one up. I am taking it for a test drive tomorrow. So stay tuned at the end of this, and I'll add on some nice wheeling. It's supposed to get cool tonight. It's going to be like 4 degrees Celsius tomorrow. So overnight's freezing, so I may have some ice on the trail. And see how she goes. Take her for a rip. And first time for a 2-stroke ATV. And we'll see if some of that smoke dissipates, or I'll have to watch some videos to see what is the norm for 4 or 2-stroke ATVs, because for a dirt bike, yeah, you do get some. But I don't know how much is too much. And other than that, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the good comments and the questions, because you know, this is the way everybody learns. And if somebody's got a 2001 Explorer 400, well, now they've seen it pretty much torn down, and it's not that difficult. Now, we didn't have to get into anything big as far as tearing down the cylinder or anything like that, but that's going to come in the future, I guarantee it. I've already done, a couple. I did my Arctic Cat. I've done the Polaris snowmobile, and I've also did a KX 250. I think it was a KX 250 dirt bike. So I'm not new to it, and it's a lot, and it's definitely intimidating, for the first time person, especially the wiring. The wiring is scary. Not gonna lie, but if you really want to learn it, you definitely can. So you guys have a great day. Again, keep watching. Have some wheeling at the end of this video of taking this guy for a test drive. And thanks for watching. Please subscribe and have a great day. Peace.
The first field? It's smoking a lot.
Yep.
Stop. 1, 2, 3, go. Pretty even.
Well, that does it for this beast, for the 2001 Polaris Explorer 400. And as you can see, we got some long grass in there from the trip, the ride. So I just have to tighten up the chain. So I noticed there's a lot of slack in the chain, but other than that, she performed great. We got the winch back working, so it doesn't have an off switch. I wish I had an off switch somewhere, because I don't like things connected and drain the battery. Other than that, smokes a little more than I think it should, and that's probably the injector could be working a little bit, so it's just adding a little extra oil into the cylinder there. So lights work good, the switch, all-wheel drive, everything seems to work perfectly. The hand warmers are amazing when they get nice and warm. It's a good thing to have because it is like 4 degrees and it was snowing today, so you really could feel those heat up, especially after a little while. Lights all work, everything's working. So that's a wrap, guys. And like, subscribe, and you know, put some comments in there if you got questions about this one. I might do a little bit of a review on it, on what I thought of the 2001 Explorer 400. It's got some power. You know, I noticed the suspension is a lot softer than my other Polaris. That thing is just a bit of a beast. It's heavy, it's, you know, it's hard, solid. It's made to hold a lot of weight, right? So, but have a great day, guys. And remember, subscribe, keep this channel growing. And put some comments. If you guys have had one of these, let me know. Let me know how it worked. How the top end rebuild or anything like that worked. And like, subscribe. Peace.